we're over here fighting about stuff that they just got us, that they want us to fight about. When we should be demanding those names, we should be demanding they be under oath. We should be demanding that they say these things. We should be demanding all these things, because those people who imposed Jeffrey Epstein's conviction of what he was doing, every one of them should be busted, because you knew what you were signing up for.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to Not a Fitted Podcast. It's your boy Anthony, Conservative Chicano. We got the guys in the building, the Token, the Bishop. We're going to talk everything. We're going to talk about everything today. Since there's no football to talk about, we're just going to gloss right over sports, because apparently baseball hasn't started, so we're just moving right along. I got a funny story for you guys. Well, we went to Seattle, and shout out to the Big Oos and his girl Mariah. I did their wedding. That was great. Had a great moment. We got to pray over him. They sang in Samoan. You ever heard the Samoan language? Have you ever heard them singing in Samoan? It's beautiful.
Maybe.
Okay.
But it's not like Spanish, because you can't just sing along.
No, no, you were not. That's so true.
You just nodding the head.
You just put up a hand and go with it.
And you're really hoping that they are praying and worshiping.
It was wasn't it beautiful though?
It was
beautiful.
amazing.
It was beautiful. Great wedding, beautiful time. Love the culture. Love my Usos out there, my Samoan people. This is wonderful. I get home. Usually I start off with a funny like Instagram story or something, but I'm the funny story today. So I'm going home, and I'm in TSA, and I'm going to bring out the picture just so everybody can see it. And I don't know how we'll get a close up of this or not, but we'll need to scribble out my address and everything. But I'm at TSA, mind you. I've already helped out. Shout out Jackson and Cassie. I helped them get through TSA or get their luggage in, and for whatever reason they couldn't pre-board, they couldn't pre-log in or whatever, because their baby JJ he doesn't have a ticket, and so you can't register him because he sits on the lap, right? There's no seat for him. So we're hauling around like 20 bags. I got a stroller. They got 2 car seats in a bag. They got 5 suitcases.
Feeling like a young dad again.
Feeling like a young dad. I'm feeling young and spry, wiser,
ready to crash out.
Right, and we can't get nobody to help us, so it's already a struggle. Can't get these kiosks to work. Can't get none going.
See, crash out.
And finally, I get them situated, and I got to run over to TSA because I'm trying to get through a line myself. They got pre-TSA. I got regular TSA because I'm broke like that. And I get up there, and I'm just gonna pull out my wallet. And I get up there, and he says, "Hey, put on your boarding pass and get your ID ready." I got me a California Real ID. So I hand him my Real ID, and he grabs it, and he looks, and he grabs it, and he looks, and he goes, "Hey, yo, man, this ain't you." And I go, "Excuse me?" He goes, "This ain't you." And he goes, "I don't know what we're gonna do." And I'm like, "Dude, this has got to be a joke. This is Valentine's Day. It ain't April Fool's. This is Valentine's Day." And I'm like, and he looks at me again. He goes, "No, I'm serious. Like, this ain't you. I don't know what we gonna do." And you have that moment in time. You have that moment in time where you can go like ghetto fabulous and yell at the guy and cause a scene, and realize that this guy holds the key to you getting in. Like, he could say you ain't getting in and you ain't getting in. Or you can play it cool and kind of talk your way through it and kind of like him and haw, like, how do we resolve this conflict or whatever? And he goes, "I don't know what we're going to do." And finally I go, "You know what, sir? I don't know what we're going to do either, but this is me." Now, I want to show you. There you go. Take a look at that. This is why he says, "I don't think it's you." So,
yeah, that ain't you.
What do you think, Bishop? Go ahead. It's okay. Go ahead. Pick on me. Go ahead. It's fine.
Well, I've seen you.
Okay. But if you didn't see me.
But I mean, like, how old is this picture?
Okay, you ready for this? That's only 4 years old.
No.
That's 4 years.
No.
That's 4 years.
No way.
Yep. Okay, technically 5 is, well, I mean, we're still in the beginning of 2020. That's 2021. I went in wearing a mask.
Yeah, if you feed a smile, it's like you, because your eyes are closed.
This is not 5 years ago.
It is.
But
promise you. I had to renew my license when I was 45. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm working TSA, I'm not letting you go either.
Okay, hold on.
I'm not getting fired for this.
Okay, the funniest part, this is the 3rd time this happened to me.
Well, the fact is you look a lot younger in this picture.
Oh,
Hey, that didn't even catch that. Yeah, your hair is all black.
There's no facial hair. Like it.
hey, man. This is what 5 years in the tower did to me, man. I came out like Moses. All right, we're going to show the audience. We're going to zoom in, but I got to cover up all the information. But there you go. Zoom right on there. Y'all be the judge. Y'all be the judge. He going to zoom in. Go ahead. Get in there. Get tight. Y'all be the judge. You can laugh at my expense. I can't believe you said I look younger. I can't believe
She's at it.
Okay, now zoom back out. That's enough of that. Whatever. No. Okay. Do you guys look like your picture?
Yeah, I look like I did in high school. Just a little bit bigger.
Let's see your driver's license. Let's have a little fun here. Let's see.
I don't know. I don't have.
I like how you said. Well, you need a driver's license.
I'm not worried.
Hey, you
Black Lives Matter.
Hey, I you know what? I like how you said that. I look younger. Well, you know, man. Thanks. I appreciate that, Mike. That's fine. It's fine. What do you think, Jeremy? It's suspect, huh? It's suspect. No, I'm not gonna say.
Well, I knew him back then too. I'm just saying that.
Hold on. Just because you said, Mandy, your son wanted to throw you under the bus on this one. I didn't do it though. I didn't take the bait.
You got your license.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I got a picture of my license on my phone.
That's accurate. There's no. That's accurate. That's good.
You're a lot more younger then?
It's 5 this summer.
Hey, I will say.
Dang, did you really just say that?
I will say you had no gray in your beard in this.
Yeah.
But you getting gray now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look the same though. But you getting older. The gray, is this from the kids?
Yep, one kid.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that kid's name out. Dang, that looks accurate, bro. You guys are right. It's me. All right, moving right along. Okay. Okay. On a serious note, I need you guys to talk me off the ledge. So you're gonna have to do your best to talk me off the ledge. Guys, I'm struggling. You're gonna have to pray for me or something. This last weekend in our city called the Tower District, we had the Mardi Gras parade. And, you know, all sorts of lively things happen and all that. And what gets me is we have our mayor, and as you know, our mayor gets invited to all of the Christian events. Prayer breakfast.
He about to be there tomorrow.
Oh, what's tomorrow?
I think it's the prayer breakfast.
Okay. He gets the Christian prayer breakfast. He gets men's breakfasts. He gets all the Christian stuff. But yet he does the gay parade. He does the Mardi Gras parade. He throws out beads. He does all this stuff. He, flies the pride flag and the trans flag and all the flags. And he still gets invited to all this stuff. And the reason I bring this up is one of his assistants that used to work for him posted a scripture. And it says, "Dear church, but now I write to you not to associate with anyone who bears the name of Christian brother if he is known to be guilty of immorality or greed, or as an idolater whose soul is devoted to any object that usurps the place of God, or as a person with a foul tongue, railing, abusing, rivaling, slandering, or as a drunkard or a swindler or a robber. No, you must not so much as eat with such a person as this." And you guys know that person. We'll leave his name out of it because he's completely guilty. And yet he says we shouldn't associate. And I'm over here going, brother, you work for him. You work for that guy. And we already know he was still getting drunk because we know because somebody was with him when he got drunk and he told us firsthand. And it's like, I don't understand why we're so afraid to say to this person, to the mayor, hey, dude, your lifestyle's not matching the gospel. We can't invite you to these events if your life isn't congruent, if your life isn't in step with the gospel. Am I too harsh? You give me that look, Bishop. I see Pastor Jerry. I didn't say anything bad whatsoever. I'm just asking a question. But this is your dog. This is your dude who's posting this verse. And I don't know. Help me. Go ahead. Help me. I need therapy. Help me.
I don't know. They're just all politicians. So that guy doesn't work for him anymore. He moved somewhere. So I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, so now we gonna post about it?
Man, yeah, maybe change his life. I don't know. But yeah, no, they're all politicians. So they're going to do one Fresno. So this is what he does. I mean, there's nothing new. He's going to pray before, and so no one cares.
Okay, but this is why people have a problem with politicians.
Yeah.
This is why we're so divided right now. Can the real Christians please stand up?
Yeah, we talked about it before. It takes some great courage to be a believer and to be in politics and to try to make it. And not many succeed. We don't see many people who are able to really live that out, their faith, and work in politics.
But can the real Christians please stand up? That's all I'm asking. Listen, okay, and this is maybe why I'm oversensitive, okay? And I'll admit it. We're so quick to judge rappers, Hollywood people. We're so quick to judge artists. But yeah, you got politicians, I feel like they're the worst. That's all I'm saying. I feel like they're the worst. We're so quick to judge athletes. But I feel like politicians are the worst. They know how to play that game better than anybody. That's all I'm saying. And I think it's keeping us divided. I know you've had your own beef with this, but I'm saying, do you see where I'm coming from? I don't understand. Are you looking at Pastor Jerry over there?
I'd just say, hey, when you're right, you're right, I guess.
But what are we? But why? There is strength and there is unity in us as believers. When we stand together, we stand firm. In other words, how are we supposed to? Who's correcting him? Who's like saying, hey, you're allowing your political career to interfere with your Christian walk. You should probably dial that back or just go all in on politics. Who's pastoring them? That's all I'm asking.
Well, you had a video. Somebody had a video, and it was a pastor preaching, and he said there's a difference between being conservative and being a Christian.
You want to see it? I got that video.
Yeah, let's. Okay. I thought that was very fitting.
Okay, but go ahead. Finish your point on that.
Okay.
I get it. Go ahead.
And I think that's what we have with politicians in general. Is you have conservative and liberal politicians, but that's politics. It's not their spiritual walk. And a lot of these people who are conservative. I mean, we talked about that with like some of the Charlie Kirk stuff.
Yeah.
Where we're like, I don't know. I mean, even Trump, Trump's, is he a Christian? Right. So but is he conservative? Yeah, he has conservative values.
Mm-hmm. I hear where you're going with that. And I guess I got that clip, and we're going to just give me a second. I hear where you're going with that. But I guess where I'm coming from is this. Are we so desperate to have politicians sign on that we'll just take the crumbs they give us?
I think people are desperate to have anyone who's known. Yeah. Christians are quick to do that.
Desperate to have somebody who has some form of influence be a part of their team.
It's good for the gospel.
And is it though? Is it good for the gospel?
I mean, that's what we talked about with even what's the rapper? Not the rapper, the singer with all the tattoos.
Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll. Same thing. Is it good to promote that person in that way just because he's well known? We can spread the gospel quicker.
Okay.
We're hosting a men's breakfast. Come hear the gospel. We also are headlining the event by bringing in, the mayor of the city.
Yeah, Joe Roll's going to sing Hard Fought Hallelujah.
I don't even know that song. Okay, here's the clip, though, before we keep going down this rabbit. There's this clip you're talking about right here.
Well, I might as well do it. And I know some of you are all excited. You've heard about the horrible halftime show that's coming. Some of you are all excited because Turning Point USA has an alternative halftime show. Can you tell me the difference between the two shows? The alternative is supposed to be for America. But the people entertaining are foul-mouthed, lost, degenerate people. I've heard them sing. They are filthy. Their mouths are filthy. And that's the alternative? You're trying to tell me that we have an alternative? Folks, the world can't give me an alternative. I've already met Jesus. Don't try to offer me an alternative. While I'm at it, I'm going to say what I feel right here. I wish the President of the United States would clean up his language. I wish he would stop insulting people. A leader should not give himself to insulting people all the time and using foul language. And while I'm at it, I'm going to finish. Everybody in the White House cusses except 2 women that say they're born again, but they're all foul-mouthed. Let me tell you what the Bible says. From the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Listen, don't you dare get being conservative mixed up with being a Christian. Conservative does not mean Christian. You can be pro-life, you can be pro-biblical family, you can be pro-Israel and die and go to hell. You can be all of that stuff. That does not make you a Christian. Folks, I am a Christian. I'm not a white Christian. You're not a black Christian. I'm not in a white evangelical movement. There's no such thing as a black church. We are one in Christ. There is neither male nor female. There is neither black or white or slave or poor. We are all one in Jesus Christ. No, go ahead and praise the Lord. Don't talk about the people that represent you. They don't represent me. I got one representative. And he's the one that said to me a long time ago, will you go with this man? I said, I'll go with this man. And that's the man I've been going with. And I don't care about any other men. Nobody can save me. Nobody can redeem me. Nobody can bless me. Nobody can make me happy but this man. All right, there we go.
Okay. Hey, that's some good preaching right there.
That's really good.
That was really good. That's what you wanted me to show.
Mm-hmm.
That's really
Why'd
good.
you want me to show that?
Because I think that part of our frustration sometimes as believers who are willing to stand up is that you have, we look to these politicians to be more than conservative. We look to them to be Christian, and they're not. Or they act not. Mm-hmm. Or they choose to be, their third place on their identity chart is Christian, mm-hmm. where, being a politician trumps it. Mm-hmm. And so I think maybe we just need to have realistic expectations, but then also as, leaders in the church, so not just us, but like people who are running these events, we need to be looking for people who are Christian first. Wow. And then a politician third or fourth down the road, rather than the other way around, just so that people buy tickets to our event.
Right. What'd you like about that?
Man, everything. I mean, it was just being a Christian. The idea of like, hey, the way you speak, that's not Christian-like. And it's like, he's just calling it out like the way it is. Like, this is the way you're supposed to live. And there's no gray area. Now, are you going to be perfect? Yeah, no one's perfect. But if you're doing these things and we're looking to them as a church to be like these people who are headlining things, then let your church be small then. Like, don't compromise so you feel like you can spread the gospel. Like, no, what's God's plan? What's God's way? I think we learned that during COVID. We have these strategies, a way of getting people in the church, and everyone left the church. The way that you went about it didn't build actual believers. It's got more people in the seats. So it's like we have to stand for these things that are true and people of good character. We see that in Acts when they went to look for men who can lead. They look for people who have good character, good reputation. It wasn't just like who has the most influence. Like, no, they have these things in place to go and forward the gospel, not just the person who has the most influence.
Both of you, so good. I couldn't agree more. I love this guy's preaching. I don't know who he is, but I felt like everything he said was spot on. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, and I'm not tooting our own horn, but I do want to say this. I think, thank you to everybody who subscribes, who listens, who tunes in, who shares this. I think what makes us different is we'll call out anybody. I'm not afraid to call out anybody. I'll call out myself even. If we're not walking worthy of the gospel, if we're not doing what God has called us to do and what God's asked us to do, then call us out. But I'm not just playing the conservative card. I don't identify as anything other than as a believer first, and I'm not afraid to call it out. If we don't need that platform. The church was established on a confession of faith that Jesus said upon this confession, I will build my church, but that Christ is sufficient. I agree with them. We don't need an alternative. I don't need nobody else to give me a show. I don't need nobody else to give me a game. I don't need nothing else. I have everything I need in Christ Jesus. So I agree with them. But we keep looking for something else to come save us and to platform and to push the gospel forward when the gospel is all you need. Romans 1:16. I'm not ashamed of it. The gospel on its own will change your life. No song will change your life. The gospel will. No poem will change your life. The gospel will. The gospel is what transforms you. And when you yield to the person and the power and the presence of the Holy Spirit, you will live a dynamically changed life, period. Doesn't mean you're perfect, but you're going to live changed. Mm-hmm. And you're going to grieve the Holy Spirit. You're going to feel convicted. And that's what gets me, bro. That's what gets me, guys. I'm telling you right now, is we keep feeling like we got to invite these people as if having these politicians somehow gives us a stigma that revivals hit our cities. That's bullcrap. That is garbage. Revival hits your city when lost people are finding faith. When people, not more social justice programs, when people go from death to life. Those are all good. I love it. We support it. But it's when people go from death to life, when the gang member puts down his colors, when the crack addict puts down his crack, when marriages get restored, when kids come back home. That's revival, not politicians. Not more government spending. Don't need my hope is not in the White House. It's not in some president. It's not in some social justice program. My hope is in Jesus Christ. That's all I need. And if the church would rise up and reclaim its authority, then we're going to do it. We don't need nobody to come down here and save us. Jesus already did that. That's it. That's plain and simple. Now, moving along, because we're done with that segment. I'm done. I just had to get it off my chest. So I'm like, here we are, inviting. I can't get over that. That's neither here nor there.
You think he threw the beads left-handed or right-handed?
Oh, he's a righty.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just curious. I felt like he was right-handed. That's okay. Epstein. His stuff is popping. Stuff is popping off. Every podcast show I'm turning on, they got stuff going on. I'm going to show you guys a couple clips. Sorry for the language. We're going to do our best to edit everything out. Joe Rogan. Let me do this real quick. I'm going to give you my thoughts on just what I know, a summation of what I know, and I want to hear you guys' summation of what you guys know. I do believe Jeffrey Epstein was some type of special agent. Whether it was for us, Israel, I don't know, Russia, I don't know, Iran, I don't know who he worked for, okay? I do know he had dual citizenship between here and Israel. I know that. I don't know. I'm not in the room. I'm not privy to conversations. Let me tell you what I do know. What I do know is there's a lot of powerful politicians who are on a list who went out to that island. What I do know is that he had a lot of people in the bag that he was extorting, he was blackmailing, because that's come out. What I do know is the fact that he knew a lot to the point that somebody had to off him, or he offed himself, whatever. What I know is he got a lot of people, including presidents, in compromised positions. And what I think we're owed is, Bill Clinton, you need to testify. Bill Gates, you need to testify. All these people who we know were there, y'all need to speak up. We need to know what you did and what was going on. We obviously know that women were being extorted. Young minors were being taken advantage of. I can't say too many words because we're already going to get censored on YouTube for sure. But here's what concerns me. It takes Joe Rogan and his large platform to call out something that only we have been calling. And I say we as a collective Christians, a small group of Christian believers have been saying, okay, not we as in just us three. There was something satanic and there was something demonic that was going on. Whether it was they were drinking blood, sacrificing kids, or all of the above. There was something at the root of it. It is satanic and it is demonic. And I'm going to get to the Joe Rogan clip, but that's what I know as of right now. In conjunction with that, I don't know why we're guarding the guilty. I don't know why those names are blacked out. Somebody said that they're blacked out because we would get rid of half of Congress. Do you know how I feel about that? Get rid of half of Congress. Matter of fact, I'll go as far as to say this. If your name is on the Epstein list, that you had some type of interaction with him at his island or in his club or in his Playboy mansion, whatever it was, and you in Congress, you fired. Bye. We'll get somebody else. And maybe that's really what we need to do, because all we got, and I'm talking to everybody who's watching me, what you got is a whole bunch of people CYA-ing right now. They don't care about you. They don't care about these politics. They don't care about illegal immigrants. They don't care about none of that. They care about their job because they're getting rich in Congress. So that's what I know. Okay, go ahead. What you know?
I don't know nothing, but I believe everything. I believe everything that I've seen. I believe it. I believe they were doing some crazy stuff. All the stuff you mentioned, sacrifices and drinking blood and all that stuff. Everything that I've seen that Alex Jones was talking about, I believe it all. Like I think they're doing absolutely just horrendous things, like far beyond what we would think people would do. And it was super demonic. And
would you be surprised by it if it came out?
I'll be surprised if it came out.
Oh, okay. No.
Yeah.
I'm talking about what they say they're doing. Would you be surprised at what they're doing?
I would be before. I don't. To me, I still don't understand maybe it's my ignorance. What power are you gaining from it? Obviously, they're in power, so obviously there's something going on. I'll be shocked if it came out though, because like you were saying, everyone thinks it's not going to come out because same thing that Trump said before when he was running against Hillary. She was complaining about how he can get away from taxes. She was like, well, all your other people are doing the same thing I'm doing, and they're not going to let you change it. Mm-hmm. In the same boat with him right now.
I agree.
He, just like the Democrats, didn't want this to be out. I don't think he wants it to be out because all his homies are probably on that list too.
100%.
And so I don't think it's a right or left thing. I don't think anyone wants this to be out because all of them are going to be affected greatly from it.
I couldn't. That's it. Go ahead. What you got? What do you know? Give us a quick summation.
Yeah, I don't know much. I probably know the least out of the three of us, just because it's kind of like politics right now, or all the things in the media. I don't know what to believe, and so I don't waste my brain power with it. But I will say this: I was talking to Dee earlier. The movie is Sounds and Freedom, right?
Yeah.
And when they talk about the like the sheer numbers of kids who are trafficked and things like that, it makes this stuff believable. Because when you talk about, millions of kids who are trafficked around the world and the things that go on with the black, what they call it, not the black market, the dark web and all this, that stuff's wild to me. It makes it believable. When it comes to the lists and stuff, I wonder how, I guess I'd like to be slow to throw stones at those who are on whatever list. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because if he had such a social status to where if you and him matched social statuses and you cross paths in some form or fashion, right? Okay. Is there a chance that you guys had a email back and forth together that wasn't, talking about or alluding to or having to do with, this stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we going to catch people that are innocent in a big net?
Yeah. Okay.
Not that the other people shouldn't be,
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think anybody would have a problem if we could see the emails and the correspondence and it was neutral in that regards. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that.
So what are they releasing?
I can't. I've done a lot of digging, but here, look at this one. This is from Nancy Bass. We are prepared to go full-blown scorched earth for the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and his friends with no regard to our personal or professional deterrent. This is about moral clarity. We will burn every bridge, fight every battle, and expose every name necessary to get justice for survivors. No compromise, no backing down, hold the line. They're wanting to expose the perpetrators, not people like you said that had interactions. They're wanting to expose the perpetrators. So in order to be a perpetrator, you have to have some kind of correspondence. There's code words like the Pizzagate was real. They have code words for little boys, little girls. They have code words for drinking blood. I'm going to show you the Joe Rogan clip. I apologize. We're going to do our best to edit out everything. He gets a little riled up. He starts cussing a little bit. He's working on his salvation. Okay, he's working.
But at least he's honest.
But hey, he don't pretend. Can I just say that I appreciate a person who just doesn't pretend? Yeah. Can I say, okay, thanks.
Yeah. If he even talks about, I don't know if this is a video, but how all this stuff is leading him more to faith, like how bad it is, like the idea of like, no, there really is evil. He's like, there's no option. This is it.
He's gonna say right here. Watch this.
Like we had this sort of vague understanding, but when you see in the email like clear evidence that they're talking about children
in pretty obscene ways,
horrifying ways. So that was the thing that, like, even when I talked to Mike Benz about that, he was sort of incredulous about that. It's like, I don't think they would use children. It just doesn't make any sense if they got caught. But it just seems like,
if Mike Benz was incredulous, I know. That's pretty big.
I just don't think we really knew until we saw those files come out.
Yeah.
And then you go, there's no denying it now. My position on it is completely shifted. I thought There's probably some really sick people that have an appetite for that, but I hadn't seen any real evidence for it until these files. And now I'm like, oh, this is demonic. This is clearly demonic.
Okay, so thank you for saying that. I'm somebody who was raised a Christian and went to Bible school and that kind of stuff as a kid, and youth groups, and then growing up in Central Coast of California, let's say, veered in different ways. But the experiences that we've encountered over the last half a dozen years, it's hard to come up with a language to express what we're observing in the world other than the language of theology.
Well, demonic by action. So whether or not demons exist, if they did exist, that is how they would behave. They would prey on children and torture children. And there was the one where there was a suggestion when a child was praying to Jesus that, like, there was a joke that someone should dress up like Jesus.
Did
you see that one,
No,
Jamie?
I'm not watching this
I don't
stuff.
even want to.
Yeah.
I don't even want. People send it to me, and I go, okay, because I'm for the most part off social media. But every now and then, someone will send me something that I have to look at. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And these are emails back and forth. There's one of them where Epstein says, "I enjoyed the torture video." There's these references to pizza, a lot of references to pizza that are 100% some kind of a code.
Yeah.
And then it brings you back to Pizzagate.
Yeah.
And which was widely dismissed. You know,
Yeah.
everybody's like, oh, this is a bunch of kooks. Here it is. She said she felt God's presence next to her when she was in bed. She knows that Jesus watches over her and he helped save her life. And then he writes, whoops. And then in response, Jeffrey Epstein says, you should dress up as him when you see her.
It is dark.
You should dress up like Jesus when you see her. What the
And well, look at the
You're
line.
talking about a little kid
Look
that's
at the
praying
line.
to
Look at the line
Jesus.
above it. How
Of
am I
course.
supposed to interpret "I'm coming" trick?
the OH Jesus, I'm coming trick.
It's just the whole thing. But so we see this darkness. It involves leaders in academia, in science, in industry, in politics.
Yeah.
And it just, I remember a point in this arc of the last 6 years where a film crew came onto my farm and wanted to shoot some segments. And they were talking this, and frankly, I thought it was crazy talk. I kind of smiled and tried to be civil and nice, not contradict them, about the New World Order. And then along comes, then my wife one day says, hey, you ought to look at this book from Klaus Schwab. It's called The New World Order.
Oh my gosh. Joe Rogan calling it demonic satanic. I'm speechless. What is going on? Listen. Say what you want about Joe Rogan, but I got to dispense some facts real quick. Number one, everybody thought he was a conservative. Joe Rogan has never been a conservative. All you got to do is go listen to him pre-COVID, pre-podcast, pre any of this. And I don't know that he's much of a conservative now as much as he's discovering truth. And if you are discovering truth, that's going to lead you to the Bible. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. So he's never claimed to be a Christian either. We know this. So I don't want people getting me on one way or the other. But his eyes are being opened to the point where he sees this whole thing about that story about she's scared, she's frightened, she's being abused, and she said, Jesus comes to comfort me. And then that sick guy says, why don't you dress up as Jesus? What is going on? And he cusses in that point, to which you heard what I said. I said, well, that properly fitted, because that is just nasty. That is horrible. What did you think about that clip?
So you asked, what's out. So they don't know who he was sending this email to. So they don't know.
Can't see the name.
Yeah, so that part's blacked out. So they see this, but it's like, who's he talking to? And that's what people
We
want.
deserve to know. Why are we protecting pedophiles? We deserve to know. If this guy is still a House sitting member of Congress, fire his...
So
Ask the Lord to fire him. How about that one? But why is he still in? And you know who you are. You know who you are.
Well, I imagine Rogan's shook a little bit because he knows a lot of people. So like we know these people as names, but
he knows them.
but he knows them.
He knows them.
He's probably like, man, like, I was having dinner with so.
But where's the justice? Where's the justice? You got people marching down the street for everything else. Where's the justice? See, this is what I'm saying. We're being played. We're being played. There has been more coverage over Savannah Guthrie's mom being kidnapped, which I'm sad she's kidnapped and we need to find her. That's not what I'm saying. But you got this and all these people who are indicted and implicated, and you ain't getting no run on any news network. We have more run and more news network for two people who were killed by ICE for doing stuff they shouldn't have been doing. Mind I add you. Is it deserving of? Probably not, but they were still doing stuff they shouldn't have done. But you got no run on this. Who is silencing the media? Who is silencing all these people that you got to go to podcasts and platforms to hear this stuff? I'm telling you, something's off and we're getting played. America, we're getting played. We are getting played. Stop being played. It's like, hey, look right here. And over there, they're stabbing you in the back and kids. I shouldn't have said that. I'm bringing it. You're going to have to bleep that out. But you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I mean, am I wrong? I can feel the veins popping in my eyes.
You got it going.
Okay.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
You're not wrong, and it's sick, and it is demonic, and I really do pray that it all gets brought to the light, and every single person who's done anything wrong gets the justice that's coming due to them. Will it happen? I don't know, but it sure seems like there are people out there who are wanting to fight, who have a platform in order to help. So it may come out. Do we get everybody? I don't know if we get everybody. But you have
if you get the right person, they'll blow a whistle.
If you get the right person, you'll blow the whistle, and people are already starting to lose careers. They're starting to lose. So you may not get the full, justice that we would want, but there are some people that are already suffering, consequences for these interactions.
What do you think, Bishop?
I don't think we ever get everything. I think whoever's in power, I think even like Trump, he's like, it's going to destroy our nation. I can't do it. I don't want that to be on my hands. I don't want to be the president who destroyed America.
Okay, doesn't that scare you then it's that bad?
Yeah, no, I think it's that bad.
I think it's that bad.
I really do, yeah.
Can I show you another clip? This is off the Sean Ryan show, and what was his name? This is a sitting Congress member.
Oh, I don't remember.
Cohan.
But what do you mean it would destroy?
Well, I'll show you this.
So they're saying a lot of our politicians, a lot of people like in banking, all like these high level players.
And banking and everything.
Yeah, all the stuff in all these industries are on this list and they're coming down. So it's going to take down industries.
Right. So you're saying there would be too much turnover at the top of everything
Too
all
much.
at once.
You're going to find a ton of corruption that you have to weed out. And it's just going to bring.
Okay, but isn't this what we've been complaining about for years? Everybody, hey, don't trust the government; it's corrupted. We've been saying it for years, and now it's like we're really getting evidence, and everybody's scared of the evidence.
But I mean, you know it. But if you're an employee at a bank and you have this top CEO that's bringing everyone money, you don't care if he cheats on his wife. You're like, just keep bringing in the money.
It's true.
I'm not.
True.
Don't say nothing. Everybody, shut your mouth. I know he's sleeping with the secretary, and his kids are here right now playing, and the secretary sleeping with right there next door.
Yeah, you're right.
We're getting rich. Everyone
Getting
be quiet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what a lot of it is. Like, no, we're doing well. I don't care what you're doing to these
This
kids.
was 20 years ago. This was the past. Why are we digging it up?
It's a two-tier system.
It's gonna
really
it's gonna bring everybody down. Yeah.
Okay, what was his name? I saw you had it right there. It is a two-tier system if we think about it, though, Mike. It's a two-tier. It's the have and the have-nots. Don't let nobody get it twisted. It's the have and the have-nots. And you know what we are? We have not. So,
Bro, I don't know how to say that last name. Somebody name last name.
Yeah, it's Roe what?
Oh, maybe Ro Khanna, maybe.
Okay, Ro Khanna, here you go. This is him on the Sean Ryan Show.
Do you think that somebody that kids does being under oath mean anything to them? Because I don't. I don't think it means a thing.
Well, here's the problem for people, and I just want to be clear. I mean, we don't know which one of these people actually kids or were on islands where young girls were being paraded naked or knew that kids were being. Like, there are a lot of people who knew that either Epstein or others were being and were still showing up on this island.
People have been calling this shit out. I mean, Nicki Minaj, was it Nicki Minaj just came out and said she knew about this I mean, lots of people have been talking about this stuff, but they were always labeled conspiracy theorists.
Massey and I thought we were told we were conspiracy theorists. We were going to kill our reputations. We were pursuing a hoax. And now it turns out, you know, the most powerful people in this country and around the world were implicated. But here's why it matters if you have them under oath. Because if you get enough of them and they're making statements, then there may be contradictions. Then if someone says, oh, yeah, I saw Gates on the island, and Gates says, no, I wasn't there, there are contradictions. As it is, there are people who are conveniently remembering that they met Epstein more than they claimed, right? And they're trying to correct the record. Lutnick and others are correcting the record. Why? Because there's emails that have come out. There are other people who are testifying. So if you get 100 of these people under oath, you're going to find the contradictions. You're going to find out who's lying. So I'm not counting on their own conscience coming clean. I'm counting on the fact that there needs to be an investigation. There's been no investigation. It's not just that they haven't released the file. There's no investigation.
It's exactly what we talked about last time. There's a two-tier justice system.
Yeah.
And the elites and political elites do not fall under the same justice department that the rest of us do.
There are two Americas. There are two tiers of justice. If you're rich, if you're powerful, if you fund universities and nonprofits, you can do the most heinous things. Like, you can show up to an island where young girls are being and have no consequence.
I mean, so many people are involved, it's almost like it's a requirement to do that to get to the places that they are. That's how many names are of powerful elites are in those files.
You know, I was on a call yesterday and someone said basically a version of that. They said, you don't understand, Raul, you had to be part of this Epstein network to be in the club. And he said, I didn't go, but I was tempted to go because everyone in my peer group was going. And if you weren't part of this club, then you weren't part of elite society. And so you have basically a peer pressure to go to an island where people know that this guy's been a convicted pedophile because they went after he was convicted, and they know that young girls are being I mean, and it's the elite in Hollywood, the elite in finance, the elite in Silicon Valley, the elite in politics. And you talk to the survivors and they say, we were told you can't call the police. You can't call the FBI because they know too many powerful people. So you've got an America where you've got two systems of justice, and people resent that. People like you go and fight for the country's values. You risk your life. And yet these elite folks are basically saying, yeah, we can go to an island where young girls are being and no one can touch us. And they never thought anything would come out, and we can make lewd jokes about it and laugh about it and fly to Davos, and life goes on. That's how they were living. Okay.
He's spot on the two-tier justice system. He's spot on all this stuff that he's saying, and we're over here fighting about stuff that they just got us, that they want us to fight about. Mm-hmm. When we should be demanding those names, we should be demanding they be under oath. We should be demanding that they say these things. We should be demanding all these things, because those people who imposed Jeffrey Epstein's conviction of what he was doing, every one of them should be busted because you knew what you were signing up for.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy part. Nicki Minaj. Nicki, out of all people, because they want to blast her. She was putting everybody on blast. When they were making jokes about her, she just started naming them. You got to go back. I'm not saying you should follow her Twitter page, but I'm telling you right now, you know, or her X page. She spared no punches. She just kept blasting them. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it's that bad, D. It is that bad.
Yeah, no, I think it's. I'm telling you, I believe it all. I don't know nothing, but I believe it all.
So if somebody told you, you'd be like, "Yep, probably happened. They're drinking blood." Yep,
I believe it.
I do too.
Yeah, it just seems so demonic and evil. What's the crazy thing is, if he didn't get caught, you'll never know. It could still be going on today. You have no idea.
Okay,
well, I guarantee you, it's going on other places.
It is. Well, I think he had a spinoff with Diddy. Sean Diddy Combs. I think they had spinoffs. I think it was I think it was Epstein X type of activity. Okay, let me just kind of get the yellow brick road going here. You look at the people who was involved in the Epstein stuff that we know of now, and you look at the people who was involved in the Diddy stuff. You can't tell me their lives were enriched and better because of their association with these people. They doing some foul stuff. I'm telling you right now, there is a foul demonic spirit How is God? Do you think this is sort of God's judgment right now? He exposing things because he's giving America a chance. I think spiritually this is what's going on. I really do. I really, really do. And I'm not trying to be over spiritual and over everything else. I'm telling you, I really do.
He's giving us a chance to make it right.
I think he is, because you're dealing with kids.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything I know about God, you can't mess with the kids.
Yeah.
Like, you could do a whole lot of bad stuff. Like, God will be like, oh, no, you're going to get yours. But you start messing with kids, I don't know. He got a soft spot for kids. And all of a sudden, stuff started happening. I'm just saying. I don't know. What are we going to say?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because even... it could be judging the world, because I think it's even more than America. We see it's like it's basically all the West, we'll say, because you even see one of the princes, like they got pictures of him,
Prince Harry, yeah,
like nailed over a girl, nailed over a girl. Like it's crazy. And you see all the people around the world, even in Canada, calling people out. Like it's so many people were connected to it, and you can see like how much power was in this network and what was going on, and this. I don't think because of that, I don't think we're ever going to know, or it's not going to be this big fallout because there's so many powerful people connected to it.
It was
Presidents
interesting
as well. Presidents. There's presidents connected.
He said there's so many people that are involved. It's almost as though in order to make it into the elite, you had to have done it.
When he said, what'd you think when he said that?
Oh yeah, because you hear about like certain entertainers who kind of were. What do they call it? You just did one song and you got famous, and then you're one and done or whatever, right? One hit wonders, and it's like, man, I thought they were going to be a lot better. And then you hear them do an interview, and they're like, yeah, they wanted me to do X, Y, and Z in order to continue, and I didn't want to do it.
I don't want to pay that price.
And so I'm sure that there's levels of that where it's like they want you to sell out, your character in order to sign again on Sony, or they want you to do more to become an elite.
In essence, I feel like they're kingmakers. Like if you do what they do and do what they say they want you to do, and you play the game, play by the rules, we'll make you rich and famous.
And I totally can see how people are like, you can't tell FBI, you can't tell all these different people. They are the FBI.
Yeah, they in the bag. Okay, if I can, I'm not trying to make this over spiritual. You guys know me. I don't think there's a demon behind every doorknob, but this is foul. We've seen this before. Can you open your Bible? I want you to open your Bible to Matthew 4. And I want to say something while you're going to Matthew 4. Go to the temptation of Christ. So it starts off with the chapter. The Holy Spirit leads him into the wilderness. I need y'all to lean into this moment real quick. The devil keeps running the same play he's been running since the beginning of time. And we've always got two trees to eat from. The tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God has endowed humans with this ability to choose. And what the devil plays on with all of us, all of humanity, men and women, is this position of equality with God. You could be equal to him. You could be as smart as him. You could be as powerful as him. You could be as all-knowing as him. You can be him in essence. You can be the ruler of yourself. And part of being the ruler of yourself is this insatiable appetite to want to conquer things, to want to own things, to want to be known, to be rich, to be powerful, to be known. And so what does he do? He plays on it. In the garden, he played on a moment of weakness in both Adam and Eve, that God was withholding something and that they would be enriched if they just took a bite. He played on it with Cain and Abel, that Cain was less than Abel because of what he brought, and because of that, Abel was better than him. And he played on an insecurity and a jealousy. He played on his brokenness. And so we keep tracking along, and we see this lust for power, this lust for knowledge, this lust for just having the things that make you rich. Fast forward, and we see kingdoms come and kingdoms go, and one of the driving forces behind the kingdom is a selfish ambition to rule the world. And this all starts from a foul person in the demonic. Lucifer's his name, Satan. And what does he want? He wants equality with God. And he still sows that same seed into the heart of man. Of course, he's not going to get up one day and just tell you, hey, murder your neighbor. No, but what he is going to say is, hey, why don't you get over on your neighbor? He's not going to get up one day and say, I need you to serve me. He's going to say, I need you to serve yourself. You deserve it. He plays on us until he met a man who he could not usurp. till he cannot overcome. Are you in the temptation of Christ?
Mm-hmm.
The first temptation, correct me if I'm wrong, Bishop, he looks at Jesus. Jesus is hungry. And he says, if you are the Son of God, tell these stones to be turned into bread. Mm-hmm. Jesus responds, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Then he says to the second one, he takes him up to a high place. And he says, hey, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself down and the angels will come and, lift you up lest you dash your foot upon the stone. By the way, he's quoting, both of them are quoting scriptures back and forth. And he says, do not tempt the Lord thy God. And then the third place, I want you to read where he takes him. Go ahead, right there. Read the third place.
And again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. All this I will give you, he said, if you will bow down and worship me. Then Jesus said to him, away from me, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve him only.
Right there. He still offers it to you. He lures you in. If you come and serve me, I will give you the kingdoms of the world and the what? Splendor. I will give you the shiny things. You want the cars? I'll give you the cars. You want the women? I'll give you the women. You want the power? I give you the power. I have the keys to these kingdoms on earth. I am the original kingmaker. Upon my authority, kings rise and kings fall. I brought all these wicked kingdoms into being, he says. But Jesus, if you worship me, I will give you all these kingdoms. Do you know where they believe he was? They believe he was on top of the temple, the holy temple. They believe he was on top of the temple showing them, because, top of the temple would be on top of Mount Moriah, which is the equal height, almost the equal height as Mount Zion, which is the highest part. Showing him all these kingdoms, looking to the north, to the east, to the west. And he goes, listen, you think Alexander ruled the world? You gonna rule the world, because I have those keys. And he tempts him with the same thing he always tempts us with, a promotion, the money, the power, the fame. In today's terms, the platforms, the followers, the cars. These things that all equate to one thing: influence. People are going to put some respect on my name. And Jesus says, away from me, who? Satan. And that's exactly who we should be directing this at, because he still comes to us and he still tries to tempt us with the same things. And the only words that will get him away is, away from me, Satan. For we are to love the Lord thy God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. That's it. We're to serve him only. Away from me, Satan. You can't argue with him. This isn't something that goes away by praying more. This isn't something that goes away by fasting more. This is something you have to command with the authority God's given you. Away from me, Satan. You can pray all you want. You can fast all you want. You can do everything you want. But it's your decision to say, no, I will not succumb to that. Away from me, Satan. The only way to get rid of temptation is what? Flee it. That's what the Bible said. You need to flee temptation. But he's still coming with the same bag of tricks, and that was Epstein. That's what I think. Now go ahead. Critique my little mini sermon right there. That's what I think when I hear it.
Well, the temptation of man is something that if we don't quench at an early stage, if we don't learn to tell ourselves no, you always tell yourself, how could these people have done that? I would never do that. Yeah, but there's always things in your life that you could look back on and say, man, I would have never thought I would do that. And it's birthed out of that temptation. It's birthed out of that not telling yourself no. It's birthed out of those, those little subtle conversations that the enemy has in your ear where you just continue to say yes to it. And so I was thinking about, like, how do these prominent men who could potentially lose everything, how do you end up on an island doing something so horrendous? It's that power. It's the idea of serving yourself and never telling yourself no. Yeah. And if you don't, but it starts with just the small things. Yeah. You don't just end up on an island. You don't just end up in these positions of power. You said yes a long time ago.
Yep. What do you think about what else, Shannon? That verse.
Yeah, I was earlier today. I was listening to this podcast earlier this morning, and it's this guy who loves Andrew Tate.
Oh, okay.
And
your boy.
Yeah. He loves him. And then I was thinking, if I had a conversation with this guy, and it was like, one thing I could say even about Andrew Tate, I do want to have the cars he has. I would like to have the money Andrew Tate has. But I'm not willing to do what Andrew Tate did to get to those things.
Come on, speak
Because I'm not willing to compromise my morals and my convictions to get to that place to where he got. So I'd rather have what I have than what he has, because I don't want to go the way he went to get those things. And so, but we see with the temptation of Christ, so the devil is saying, no, you can have these things, but are you willing to compromise? Or are you willing to go against your values and your morals to get to those places? And that's something we always have to ask ourselves. And sometimes it's not even the devil, it's yourself. Like, it's your own temptation, it's your own flesh that's calling. Sometimes it is the devil, sometimes it is the world, sometimes it's just a friend who necessarily not even trying to get you to do evil in that aspect, but to go against your morals and your convictions that you have to say no to, like Mike's saying, even early on. Because you'll find your place get bigger and bigger till one day the devil is at your doorstep. He's like, "Now you're ready. You said yes to enough of these small things. Now I can give you the big thing, and I know you're gonna walk through the door." So really, even starting now of saying no and standing firm on those convictions, so you won't end up in a place where you're like, "Man, how did I end up here?"
I talked to a brother one time, just because you guys said this, and man, he was in a bad way. I can't even really say on air how bad of a way he was in, but he was at the lowest of lows. Stuff that we would be very, very upset about. Okay. Not only would we be very upset about, we'd be very disgusted. He was disgusted with himself. Epstein type stuff. And I remember asking him this. He was just broken, and he says this, "I don't know how I ended up here." Okay. And I stopped him and I go, "Do you really not know how you ended up here?" And he goes, "Pastor, let me rephrase that. I didn't know I would end up here." That's the statement. I used to say this. You probably heard me say it in youth group. Sin will take you further than you ever wanted to go, keep you longer than you ever wanted to stay, and make you pay a price you never wanted to pay. That's sin. So me and this brother were talking, and I said, "What do you think the first open door was?" He said, "Magazines." I found my old man's magazines, and it was the first open door. And I just cried with him. You know, he was just broken, didn't know what to do, didn't know how he was ever going to find freedom, and I was helping him. I was helping him to walk through this journey, and he had done some bad things. And I want to believe that God can still set people free. And I remember telling him, "But you're going to have to work, bro. You're going to have to do some things." But most people, they know how they got there. They just didn't know they were going to end up there. You know what I mean? And that's the lie of the devil. That's the knot in Satan's tail. Surely you will not die, right? That's the knot in his tail. It's really sad. Let's talk about the word. We're running out of time. We'll get into what we read in Chronicles. Chronicles got good. Chronicles is getting real good. We'll have a lot to talk about Chronicles next week, and we will. We'll devote a good portion of the segment to what we're reading in Chronicles. David's got the Ark of the Covenant. Guy dies because he tries to help God out. God don't need your help. We'll get into that next week. Let's talk about the word. Bishop, a lot to talk about in Acts 16. I felt like, I know you love the word, so you're probably not going to feel this way, but I felt like I went a little too deep into the weeds of Timothy and him being circumcised, and Titus wasn't circumcised, and because I can see it on people's faces like, "Hey, we don't really know about this and really don't really care about it," but I felt like it was such an important part because we need to understand that it was optional. It wasn't obligated. It was ministry and not mandated. But Paul wanted to bring Timothy along. He wanted to bring him into certain circles, and him not being circumcised was going to get him ostracized out of the circle.
I liked it.
Oh, okay. But anyway, I felt like I watched it back a little bit. I was like, man, you could have just moved that along a little quicker. But here's what I do want to say. Not to my defense, but since I have time, I wanted to expound. 2 things. Number 1, I want you to look at the leader's ask. And number 2, I want you to look at the student's response. Neither of them wavered. Paul didn't waver in the ask, and Timothy never wavered in the response. Man, I could do a whole segment on that. Incredible. Absolutely incredible on both ends. Paul knew exactly what needed to be done and didn't compromise that ask. And Timothy knew exactly what was going to get done. And he said, Paul, if that's what you need me to do, I'm all in because you know where God's going to take me. Just blown away. Anyway, what do you think overall? And then anything stand out to you yesterday that you want to talk about in our close?
Yes, spreading the gospel is not always easy.
Okay.
Like ministry is not always easy. What God calls us to is not always going to be easy. Like there's times where you have to do something because God, not for your salvation, but for the sake of others.
Okay.
And it's what we see, that Paul and Timothy had a mission in mind to go reach people. And Paul's like, hey, I need you to go into the temples with me. And so this is what you have to do. Because this could be our strategy. We're going to go to the temples, reach the Jews, and then we're going to go to the Gentiles. So I want you to come along with me. This is the vision. And I think it's important to understand as a leader, what's the vision, and express that vision so people can get along with it. If Paul just says, hey, you need to get circumcised, like for what? I'm sure obviously Timothy understood that, his mom being Jewish. And so he understood what they're doing and why we're doing it. And I think that's important for leaders to know, like, hey, you have to share that vision. Because I was thinking, as we were reading Chronicles today, even too, you see, they didn't do it God's way. He, good heart and mind, like, God, I want to, God, I want your presence here. It was like, well, you're not supposed to carry it on the cart. There's a certain group of Levites that are supposed to, it's not even any Levites. I forgot the name of the Levites.
Kohanim, it's a certain.
Yeah, it's a certain group that only supposed to carry it, and they didn't carry it, and they rode it. Someone touched it, and like, no, you're dead.
Uzzah, wasn't like Uzzah or somebody like that touched it.
Yeah,
you're dead now.
But there's a cost to doing ministry sometimes, and you can't do it your own way. And there's times God's going to call you to do something that, like, man, I don't know about this, or I feel like, God, where's this leading to, or it's going to cause some pain. But it's for the overall mission of the gospel. And that's what we were talking about before, this idea of like bringing people who have influence onto your stage, because I think this is the best way, but is it God's way? Because if you feel like this is easier, hey, they have, millions of followers. Like, man, this is going to be so easy. Or we're going to have the best views we ever had on our YouTube page, but is it God's way? You're going to find yourself with someone dead. And now David's saying, I don't want the presence of God in here anymore. Like, I'm afraid. So do it God's way. And sometimes that's going to be difficult.
Man, what about you? What stood out yesterday to you? That was good. I especially like that, do it God's way. And we're going to go ahead and say David learned today. He learned real quick.
He's like, send that over there.
We don't want it that bad, yeah.
We got to wait a little bit.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Let it hang out at his house.
Yeah, and he did. And what the Bible say, closing verse?
He got blessed.
And God blessed him. Obed Edom.
David, he actually thought that bring that over here.
Somebody asked Obed, how's that going?
Yeah.
Obed said it's going all right. All right, we're good.
We're going to try again. Let's do it right. Somebody read the Annuals of the Kings. How are we supposed to do this? Yeah, what stood out to you?
Man, there was a lot of things that stuck out yesterday. Even if I just continue to go off of what you guys are talking about, you talked about Timothy and Titus and Titus, right?
Yeah, it's Titus.
And, the calling for everybody is different as well. And so the cost is going to is somewhat similar, but also different.
Right. And
the cost for Titus and the cost of Timothy were different, but the call was different as well. And I think sometimes we get caught up in comparison. And if we're not careful, we want our cost to be the same as the other person's cost, but the calling is completely different. Yes. And what happens is you don't want to pay that cost, but you want the benefits of the calling. But the reality is, if God's calling you to it, it's going to cost you. And you had said how much God uses you is determined by how much you allow God to work in you, how much you allow God to cut you. And I think some of our frustration sometimes with people in the church is that we see this desire for the calling, but they still want to live the old lifestyle. And we're like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why would you do that? And so maybe sometimes I'm a little bit more strict on myself than I probably should be, or I'm a little bit more strict on how I view things than maybe I should be. But I also don't want to be the type of leader where I am living a lifestyle that doesn't match up with the calling that God has for me. I think I would rather be a little bit more strict than less, just because I know that people are watching, starting with my kids. So, I mean, I got a ton of notes from yesterday.
On that too, I kept thinking to myself, this even lately, I want to be careful, like what you're saying. I don't want to pay a cost that God's not asking me to pay. Like trying to find that balance. I think me, you're, alike, we're just, God, okay, whatever it is, what do I have to give up? But I don't want to give to heaven like God said, that wasn't me. Because you can find yourself on these extremes in order to please people or to feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing with the right heart, but God's not really asked you to do that. And so just being careful of that, like finding that balance as a leader, I think sometimes it's difficult.
Well, guys, we saw that with Paul. It literally said Paul wanted to preach the gospel. In Bithynia, in Mysia, right, in Phrygia, he wanted to preach the gospel. Like, is there a more noble thing than preach the gospel? There's not a more noble thing. And God said, no. That's exactly what you're saying, though. God, I don't want to be doing what I feel is the right thing, but it's the wrong thing. I need to be doing your thing.
Yeah, because people think Paul got killed because it was his own fault. That wasn't even God's plan. Like, you messed up. You doing stuff you ain't supposed to be doing.
Well, there were a lot of people. There's a lot of theologians you and I respect who believe when they told Paul don't go there, he could have extended his ministry, and yet Paul went there.
Yeah.
And you know how Paul sees it? I was going to end up there anyway. If it's a little sooner or a little later, it didn't matter. I was in it. He was. Truth is,
I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
He always knew he was going to die in Rome. Now, whether he'd have got 10 years doesn't really matter because we can look at scripture and say Hezekiah got 10 more years. That ended poorly. That brother probably should have died when he died. Right? It didn't end well. You know. So anyway, I'm just saying we can go back and forth, but there is that noble act that it may seem noble and seem right, but God's still ain't asking you to do it. That's a good point. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, even off of that, and sometimes it's like, well, are my intentions or are my motives good? You know, I'm gonna get to Rome because I need to get to Rome, or as I need to get to Rome because God's calling me to Rome. You know what I mean? Like in the tension that's there. And then you were talking about no's and yeses yesterday, and you know, one of the things that I had taken away with, even when God says no or God says yes, if I base it off of my interpretation, I usually get myself in trouble. And so it's like, God, help me to see what you see in this situation, because this no hurts and this yes looks amazing. But this yes is going to really hurt. And this no is amazing. And being able to see it from God's lens and not my own was really something that I think that we desire, but can be difficult at times.
Why do we have such an allergy to pain and the word pain? We don't like the word pain. It's almost as equal to patience. Nobody likes it. But as a believer, there's going to be pain. This world is full of pain, and there's going to be pain, and God's going to use that pain to shape you as a leader. You get David, who gets 14 years, 15 years on the run, not really experiencing anything but life on the run, still living somewhat of a good life, right? And you get Joseph, who spends all that time in a pit and a prison. There's a big difference. Both have pain in their lives. Why are we so allergic to pain when God uses pain as part of the process to perfect us, to get us to where he wants us to be? Why are we so allergic to pain?
Because it's a good and it's a bad thing.
Okay.
So if you didn't have any pain, you wouldn't know when you're hurt, and you keep doing stuff that's painful and end up killing yourself. Because pain is a warning to the body that something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
You need to stop doing what you're doing. But also, you know, like you're at the gym and you feel a little pain or you feel a pump. You're like, oh, I'm building something. You go too far, you destroy your body, and you're in a hospital. So where is the point of pain where you actually find growth, or where's the point of pain where you actually completely destroy yourself? And I think that's what we're always trying to struggle with, that I don't want pain because it's just going to hurt me, or is there actually going to be a benefit at the end? God, are you bringing this pain so I can get somewhere and get better, or just simply am I going through this and it's going to bring destruction to me? And so you're always trying to find that balance of you understanding, God, what are you doing? And at times you have to trust him that even the pain I'm going through, hey, God, you're going to see me through the other side and I'm going to be better. And especially if it's God doing it. Now, if you're doing it to yourself, you got to figure yourself out and you got to change it, because that pain doesn't lead to something good. Like, we have to come to God with that. God, what are you doing?
That was excellent. We got to clip that. The people are going to miss that. They're going to sleep on that. They're going to see we ride that tension of pain, and it's an indication, right, of something's grown or something's wrong. That is so good. What were you going to say?
Well, I think what one of the things that's difficult about that is when we're in control of the pain and when we're not. When the pain comes to us,
okay,
tragic accident, sickness, death in the family, loss of a job.
Okay.
Right. So we're not even trying to walk through a door that shuts on us. The door just slams on us,
Okay.
or beats us over the head with it. And it's in those moments or in those seasons where it's like, man, I really got to trust God that something good is going to come from this. And it's that because this pain is overwhelming. It's overbearing. I don't know how this can be used for good. Yeah. And couldn't you have used somebody else instead of me to write that story? Right. So I think part of it is when we're seeking to have that growth and knowing that, man, you know what, I got to start on the bottom at this company, and I'm going to be treated like crap, and I got to work to the top, but I can see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. And then there's other times where the pain comes to us. I think when the pain comes to us, it hurts the most.
That's one of the hardest things as a pastor too. When you walk in someone in pain and you're like, no, this sucks for you right now. And I don't know how God's going to see you through, and I have no answers. Mm-hmm. And we have to trust it. Like I got nothing for you. All I could do is pray, and I don't understand what God's doing in your life right now.
A Job moment for sure.
Yeah, and you're just like, I don't know. You just don't know. It's one of the difficult things to deal with as a pastor.
God will use the pain, though. Mm-hmm. There's always a purpose and a plan. That was so good. Let's end off right here, and I'll let you guys pick which one you want to talk about. I said there's three. I said two things that shout out. One was from Chuck Smith, great Bible teacher, by the way. I know blessed memories passed. One was, I think, Skip Herzog or Herzog, whatever. I can't really say his last name. Chuck Smith said everybody needs three people in their lives, and then Skip said Paul and Barnabas. Paul wanted people already done for the ministry, and so they could be a blessing to the ministry. And Barnabas says, hey, nope, I'm going to use the ministry to be a blessing to the people. In other words, get them done. I thought those two things were great. I want to talk about, because I think a lot of people were blessed by, I need to have three people in my lives. So I want you guys to take whoever you want to. Which one of those three has benefited you the most? So I don't know if you want to talk about having a Paul in your life. I don't know what you want to talk about, having a Barnabas or having Timothy's, whatever you want to talk about. Just everybody choose something. And then whatever you two choose, I'll pick up on the last one because I can pick up on any of them. You know what I mean? But we'll start with Mike, and we'll go to you, and then we'll go to me. Mike, talk about having one of those people in your life, whether it's a Paul, Barnabas, or a Timothy, and how it's blessed you, and then encourage the person to go get one. Go ahead.
I have said to quite a few people throughout my years, I've been able to, as a believer now, I'm able to look back at God, like strategically putting people in my life, even when I didn't believe in God.
Oh, okay.
Who were a Paul to me.
Wow.
Whether that was a coach, a mentor in the after school program, best friend's dad,
love it,
and now a pastor, and how being able to look up to somebody, being able to see that somebody cared for me, being able to see that if I had a question I could go to somebody, has always been such a blessing to me. And I didn't even know I needed it. And then now getting a little bit older, looking back and be like, man, thank God that he strategically placed these people in my life to save me from a lot of hurt, to save me from a lot of bad decisions, to really help lead me and guide me. And so I guess my encouragement would be, be a Paul to somebody else. It doesn't matter what bad decisions you've made. When we see Paul, he wasn't perfect. Nope. It doesn't matter where you've come from or what you've done. You've got something to give to somebody else, and you will be surprised at how much of a blessing it is to them.
Love that. Go ahead, Bishop. What you got?
Man, they're all really important. I've always had people in my life to, the go-to before I buy any car. There's someone I called, things like that. And one of the reasons I came to the church, I had people beside me. But I think one thing that constantly challenges me, because maybe it's, could be a struggle for me, is really having people under you that you're teaching.
Timothy, okay.
Because you got to be on it. Like you have to be, it's hard to help someone with their marriage if you're not acting right with your marriage. So
not dishing out parenting advice, huh?
Yeah. So it's like, you got to go figure it out. It was a couple of weeks ago on the podcast, you asked about the marriage, and I was laughing because I'm like, I don't want to talk about marriage right now because I got to go talk to my wife.
Shout out Rocky. Come on.
And I did go talk to her, but
good move.
This is going to come out later today, so we need to talk.
Good move.
We're good. But it is to challenge you to get right, because like if I'm gonna share life with people, I can't go share something I have already done. I can't tell you to, hey, no, love your wife and care for your wife or care for your kids if I'm not doing it already either. And you could really relate because you know the struggle. It's someone who's never had kids. You can't tell me like, hey, sometimes you don't like your kids. Like so if you don't have kids, you don't understand that. But I would die for my kids. But sometimes like, man, I don't want you around me right now. But like, how does that work? How do you understand? But when you live it, then I'm able to share that with other people. And I think that really keeps me on my toes. Like preparing to go preach. Like there's something that you lock in, you focus more. Should I have that all the time? Probably so, but it's not always like that. Like there's something that you really do that you're focused on, and you're listening to our worship, like because you're taking that seriously. Because like if I'm going to share this with other people, I want to make sure I'm sharing it from not Deshaun's point of view, but I'm sharing something that's coming from God. And so that really always challenges me. And I think for anyone, if you don't understand that because you're not doing it, I think anyone who's doing that and have someone that might call them and ask them questions, like you're going to feel that weight of like, no, I want to be there to love you and care for you.
I said it yesterday. You never feel the weight of responsibility till you're responsible for somebody. And that'll grow. Go ahead.
It's funny. Yesterday, someone was literally telling me they see church differently because their family member comes to church.
We say that all the time.
It changes the way you view church. You're not worried about yourself anymore. Like you worry about like worship, the parking, and people are nice to them. Like it changes completely how you see them when you're not worried about yourself.
No, that's so good. Thank you. We got a Paul, we got a Timothy, and a Barnabas. I'm here because of the Barnabases in my life, the people who I'm accountable to, the people who, shout out Matt, Elias, people who've been there for me for the long haul, who I'm able to bear my soul. And I think that people go wrong. I said it to somebody the other day. I said, your circle matters. We see that of the life of David. His circle matters. Those mighty men were mighty because of David, and David was mighty because of them. We have no record of David ever killing another giant, but we have records of all the people who was around him killing giants. God went in a pit on a snowy day to beat up a lion. The other guy beat up an Egyptian whose weaver's rod. I was like, man, can we get a movie on this?
Sword got stuck to his hand.
Yeah, he fought so long it just froze. I'm reading all this. It seemed like some Gladiator, Braveheart type stuff. Come on, Mel, make a movie about this stuff. I'll watch it. And it's like, man, your circle matters, and we talk about that a lot. And it's so important to have a Barnabas. And two quick things on that. Number one, how do you find a Barnabas? Well, friendships take time to develop. You start figuring out if you could trust people. If you tell them a little something, they keep it close to the vest. Well, you can tell them a little something more. Next thing you know, you're doing life together. Right? That's step one. Step two, you got to be willing to tell them. Some people are like, well, I don't know if I can trust them. Well, if you don't give them a little something, how do you know? So you got to take the risk, then you got to build on that ask, right? Or on that risk as well. But let me say this in our close. To the average person out there who is just getting involved in their faith, or maybe they've been involved for a while, but they're taking these 3 steps, right? The Paul, the Barnabas, and the Timothy. I love what a coach once said. He said, listen, when you first start learning to do these drills, you look silly. And I get it. We all look silly. When I was doing these drills, I looked silly. I was kind of fumbling my way through these things. And yes, everybody out there is wondering what's going on. And, maybe you picked the wrong first mentor. Maybe you picked the wrong protege. Maybe you got the wrong accountability partner. We all look silly. But if you give it enough practice, if you're willing to put up with all the silliness, if you're willing to keep going the extra mile, what looks silly at once has now become very proficient and efficient. And now stuff is starting to come together. And when the game is on and it matters most, those drills will kick in. So I say to you, you might mess up and you might make mistakes and it might look silly to people. But when you get going in this thing we call faith and on this adventure we call being a Christian, when the game is on the line and it matters most, your Paul will be there, your Barnabas will be there, and even your Timothy will be there. This has been the Not Offended Podcast. Peace. We're out.